Hello there. Thanks for joining me today on Sewing an Imperfect Life. It's great to have you here. You are very welcome. Today on my channel, I'm going to talk about my latest two makes. And before I do that, I thought I would reintroduce myself. The channel has grown a wee bit, so I thought I'd just take a moment to stop and let you know a little bit about me. My name is Rebecca. I live here in a little cottage in the Blue Mountains, New South Wales, Australia. That's just west of Sydney. The Blue Mountains are a World Heritage Place. It's a beautiful place for bushwalking and for great views. I am a primary teacher. That's my full-time job. I love my job. I also love sewing. I love fabrics. I love thinking about what I can do to help the environment as well as to be creative. I also really love reading and I love baking. I love baking for people, that's fun, and I like sewing for myself. I really enjoy hearing about where you're all from across the globe. Thanks for the people who messaged me over the last few months and let me know where you're watching from. I know I've got someone watching from Spain, quite a few people across the US, someone from British Columbia, and various people in other states in Australia. So wherever you're from, thanks for joining me. It's great to have you as part of this community. On this channel, I do like to talk about latest makes, about some plans, also about where I source my fabric. I really do try to think about where my fabric comes from, either the way it's produced or reusing things like op shopping for sheets or things like that, or taking something I already have and don't wear and seeing how I can make it a better garment for myself. I have two makes to share with you today and I am wearing them. I've been wearing them all day at work today and I even did playground duty with them and I still feel pretty good in them. So the first one is the Finch top. This is a pattern by Darwin Designs and I have spoken about it before. In an effort to think a little bit more carefully about how the fabrics and the garments I choose mix and match together, these two items match. They're made out of the same fabric, so they can be a set or they can mix and match with other things. So the Finch top is a dolman style quarter button blouse featuring a gathered bust seam with several sleeve and collar variations. So they are a short straight sleeve like I have on this garment today, a 3/4 sleeve, a long straight sleeve, a ruffle sleeve, a double ruffle, a bell flare and a bishop sleeve. On my blouse today I have the band with a ruffle. I have done the buttons up but to take a couple of photos, but previously today they were undone. You can do it with just a plain band. There's also an option with a traditional collar and also with a Peter Pan collar. So you get a good bang for your buck with this pattern because there are so many variations. The fabric that I have used to make this today, it's mostly linen. I think there's a little bit of cotton in it. I'm saying that because I don't remember, but it feels pretty good on my skin, whereas linen can sometimes be a little bit itchy, scratch on me the first few wears. So this fabric was just purchased from Spotlight, which is just a really everyday kind of fabric store here in Australia. This is the second version of this particular blouse I've made. I really like this pattern. It just seems to sit really well on me and feels very comfortable. I did make one change and it was to this band collar. I found on my first trial the band collar didn't sit quite right. It wasn't long enough to sit in line with the button placket. So I extended the band collar by 3 centimeters. That's a lot, but it did fit well then. So the 3 centimeter extension, and then I did add the ruffle on top. One thing I really like about this pattern, the instructions are great, really easy to follow, but I like that this part, this top part here, the button placket is built into it, and you just do a double fold to get this placket happening. And it's the same with the sleeve, the short version of the sleeve. That is not a separate part. You do a small double fold to get your sleeve hem. So that just makes life a little bit easier and quite a quick make compared to some other blouses with lots of extra pieces. If you are a particularly tall person or have a long torso, you would probably want to extend the length of the blouse unless you wanted it cropped. I'm not a particularly tall or short person. This is sitting just right for me, but I know that a lot of people would like it longer on their body to feel really comfortable moving around during the day. So this is sitting right on my hips, and this is the full length of the blouse. I am going to pop outside to take some photos in the sun and also do a short video, because I know it's really helpful to see garments on someone's body and how it moves on their body, how it sits when they move around. And especially if you're a similar size or shape, it's really great to be able to see it in action. When making the Finch top, I made the size 6. There are finished garment measurements, and I went off the waist measurement. There is no hip measurement, but it goes quite straight from waist to hip, and my hip is my largest part. So I went from that measurement and I made up the size 6, which has a nice bit of room but is not too oversized for me. The second garment I have finished and paired with my Finch top is my second pair of Everett pants. My first pair was a tiny little bit tight across the back side, so I decided to remake them and go with the full butt pattern piece. So they've got like an average butt and then a more fuller butt or rounded butt. So I went with that with the size 18, and they feel really, really comfortable. Again, the trousers are made with the linen cotton in a navy blue, and I've been wearing them all day, so they're really nice, and they've stretched in, they're loose now, and they feel quite easy breezy. The Everett pants are a pattern from the Cashmerette pattern company, and their tagline is sewing for curves. With the waist, the elastic around the waist, I remember the first time I made it, that was too big. So I looked at what they said to measure for the elastic for the size 16, and I did that instead, and that worked a treat. And it just sits really nicely around my waist and goes over my hip. You can also put on a fabric belt and some belt loops. I chose not to do that this time because there's an ever so slight paper bag waist, and I thought that was enough for me to make a feature without doing all the extra bits. To make it a really easy, quick make, I left off the back pockets and I left off the belt and belt loops. So all I had to do was the slash pocket, which I like the look of them, plus they're very handy, and the waistband. So this is the size 18 and I'm really happy with how it's come up. So making these two garments was for me a bit of a search for patterns that fitted a bit better than just making something. So searching for something that was really nice for my body shape and size. Things that felt good to wear, that were practical to wear, that also felt stylish for me, because everyone's style is a little bit different. And also choosing fabric that I could start mix and matching with other things I already have in my wardrobe, or perhaps that I could fill out. So I will be making another pair of the Everett pants in a different fabric, perhaps green, that will go with this blue top and some other things I have. Perhaps a blue and white stripe, which I think will also go with this top and other things that I have. The navy blue pants will have many uses and will go with many other things. Here's a few I picked out. This is one of my favorite makes, also in a light cotton poplin. You know, I had a brain fart and I could not think of the name of this blouse for the life of me, so I had to go look it up. Okay, this is the Marnie blouse from Tilly and the Buttons. This is a short sleeve version where I just didn't put on the long sleeve part. I have done the high neck with the frill. I have not done any of the little tucks along the front or along the sleeve. I thought with this fabric, this was embellishment enough, and I really enjoy wearing this, and this will go beautifully with these navy blue Everett trousers. Okay, this is the Tulip Summer Top from Wardrobe by Me. This is a vintage fabric I picked up in a little store, like a little sewing op shop. And while it's mostly burgundy, there are some little tiny white and blue flowers which will tie in really nicely with the navy pants. And my lucky last is my current favorite top that I'm wearing at least twice a week, and that is of course my first Finch blouse in this also vintage fabric that I picked up from the sewing basket, the sewing kind of op shop we have here in New South Wales, and it's in this lovely red and white gingham, which is just so fresh and light and lovely, and that will go really nicely with my navy blue trousers. So I'm really happy with how these are going to mix and match with some things I already have, and plans in the work for a couple of little extra pieces that will tie in. My top of course will go with some jeans. It may go with a pair of dungarees that I have, I'm not sure, it just depends how I style it. It is of course going into summer here in Australia, but I think most patterns can be for any season, just depending on how you style it or the fabric that you choose to use. I have noticed recently on other channels, people have started to talk about Christmas makes. I do have some ideas and some half-formed plans. I had some plans last year that I did not carry through, so I actually do have a little bit of fabric, Christmassy type fabric, that I could use and follow through on. In the end last year, I just ran out of time, and I guess it's the same in other parts of the world, but here in Australia, a lot of things finish at the end of the year. Especially for me, the school year finishes in December, just like literally days before Christmas. So it can be quite exhausting. You kind of finish and then you want to sleep for a few days. So all the gifts that I had planned to make did not eventuate. I have a few things that are half made, so I can follow through on those, but I'll get back to you about those. And the other thing I've seen people looking forward to is their advent calendars. I decided this year I don't need a sewing or crafting advent calendar. I really do have quite a lot of stuff. I've got enough already. I don't need more of that sort of stuff. But I did want to have some sort of a treat. So I bought myself a little tea advent calendar because I really do like sitting down and having a cup of tea both at the beginning and at the end of the day. So I've just unwrapped this. It smells good. This one is called the English Tea Shop Organic. And I'm actually going to start it now in November. And I might even get another one for December because I really do enjoy them and they're such a small delight. So this is the English Tea Shop and I'm going to open number 1 right now and go and have a cuppa. And then it's still quite sunny outside because the days are getting longer, so I have to go and mow my lawn. All right, number 1. Gosh, they smell good. It's called Chai Charge. It's a rooibos with cinnamon, cloves, turmeric, a little bit of strawberry and cardamom. That actually sounds really lovely. Okay, I'm going to go and brew myself a pot and then I'm going to mow the lawn. I hope you're getting on with something enjoyable today, or at least getting something ticked off the list. It's great to have you here. If you want to sign up or give me a thumbs up or drop me a howdy, that is absolutely appreciated, and I am pretty good at getting back to people with messages because I really enjoy communication. All right, that's it from me today. I hope you're well and I'll see you next time.